Oh boy, that was so good. That really was good. The only thing, I just forgot about that. It's kind of like, never mind. It wasn't bad. Everything else was perfectly timed and delicious. It was kind of like, there's casualties to every war, isn't there? Right. So, I'm speaking in my earlier video today about, you know, the language we use and the things we say and how we communicate and whether we can understand each other and all these sort of things. And just as I'm eating my food, then you know, something springs to mind about the whole Jesus dying on the cross thing. And it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, we can use this as an example of how philosophers think about things, whereas Christians do not think at all about anything. And so, look, if Jesus was just a regular guy, and he was well versed in Gnosticism, and he was a spiritual guy, and he was in touch with the essence of the universe, and everything that is reputed to have said isn't true, and so therefore he's not the Son of God. If that's the case, then him being hung up is kind of like lamentable, isn't it? We could all feel sad about that. It's kind of like the guy was just trying to fucking wake people up and do the right thing, and then ignorant motherfuckers, you know, who just couldn't understand what he was saying. They never had that space. They hated it. They were resentful, and so they killed him. And so therefore we can go, yeah, tough luck, and I feel sorry for Jesus. But then we look at it from another perspective, and it's said that Jesus was the Son of God. Okay, we'll go there in a minute, don't worry about that. Jesus was the Son of God, and he didn't actually know that God was going to string him up. God sent him to point the way to God. God's up there, I'm the Father, you know. The Father sent me, and that's what he says, all those sort of things. And the Father wants me to tell you this, and the Father wants me to tell you that. Same result. They strung him up. And then it's like, oh Lord, why have you forsaken me? And it's kind of like, yeah, why did you do that, God? Why did you forsake your Son? What sort of sick motherfucker are you? What sort of heinous vermin would do that? Send their only begotten Son to a bunch of vermin that God couldn't stand in any case. That's why he completely wiped them off the face of the earth on one occasion, and then, you know, he sends fire and brimstone down on them all the time, and plagues and all different stuff. He can't kill enough of the little feckish pink apes, can he? And so why would he send his only begotten beloved Son? And then, on top of that, he kills his son as well. Ha ha! I'm telling you, this Jehovah dude was the devil himself, without a shadow of a doubt. Reason with me on a logical level, if you dare. Assuming now, third option, that Jesus was in actual fact God, because it is said also, paradoxically, because it's a whole can of worms, that I and the Father are one. So Jesus was God, and he was the manifestation of God in human form. And so, well, bad luck, considering you're God and you created the world and you had all that power, and you came down to your creation and they strung you up and stuck a spear in you. How's that for luck? Where's your power? God, you created the cosmos. You couldn't have power over that? So that doesn't make sense either, does it? So we've looked at three versions, none of them make any fucking sense. Christians don't think about this. They just go, Jesus is my Saviour, he's my Lord, he's my God, and I'm going to walk with Jesus. And you just start asking rudimentary questions, you know, premising logic and reason, then all you see is their faces go like this, and you'll see the devil himself every single time. And if he doesn't go like this, because they couldn't be violent if they tried, because they're backboneless, weak mollusks, then they'd just be like they're sucking on a wasp. Right? That's the Christians. Every Christian I've ever met, that is them to a T. So this is why it is stamped out almost on every page of that stupid book, or those collection of books, that people will need faith. Yes, they will need blind faith to be with the Father and to walk alongside Jesus and all that. Of course they will. Of course they will. Because if they exercise a modicum of their intelligence, then they're going to see through that crock of shit. Oh my God. What's happened? And the human being, Homo sapiens, means intelligent ape. It means that we're wise humans. Really? Where? Where are these wise humans? I don't think humans per se are wise. I think what happened is that there was a genetic process where the Anunnaki, those that came from above, spliced Neanderthal with their own genetics, and they produced offspring. And I am one of them. I am an Anunnaki because the Anunnaki were vastly superior in the thinking capacity. And whereas these Christians, no, they were the slaves. They were what were created to smash rocks and extract gold. So that makes perfect sense to me. And some of you, you're descendants of the Anunnaki also. But every single Christian they've ever met are not. So, yes, being philosophical of mind and thinking about things and just looking and you know, it's so easy to tear a new arsehole in Christianity. In actual fact, you can tear 1,000 arseholes in Christianity with every single page of those stupid books, because they keep kicking themselves in the pants at every other line. And then, you know, somehow they try to worm and wrangle the way out of it, and then they go, oh yeah, well this is because of this and that's because of that. And so, you know, as a rational person, I just go, well look, was Jesus God? Oh yes, he's the Lord and Saviour. Well, why did he kill himself? Oh, well, he did that to save us. Well, why did he need to suffer to save us when he created us and he created everything? Seems like a bit over the top, to be fair. A bit unnecessary. You know, was he trying to big himself up? I'm going to come down and I'm going to die and I'm going to carry my cross and it's going to be really hard and I'm going to be like this and I'm going to be sweating and a little bit of blood's going to be trickling down here from my thorn of crowns and I'm going to be carrying my death implement, and then they're going to put me on it, and then they're going to and then I'm going to perish, and I'm doing it all for you. Can you see what I'm doing for you? Oh, come on, you fucking idiots, can you see what I'm doing for you? So you wake the fuck up. I'm doing it all for you, you muppets. Oh my God. You know, is it any wonder the fucking dude expired, you know, before 3 days? Because apparently it takes 3 days to die on the cross. But he was apparently dead after only 1.5 days. For God, he's a big fucking weak muppet, to be fair. You know, you would have thought, you can't kill me, I'm God! Oh, you see what I'm going to do? I'm now going to disappear. No, none of that. So, was he God, or was he God's son? Or was he just the son of man? Highly speculative, because it says he was all three things in there, and then he says it was two things, and then in other places it says he's three things. And so God, this dude's a shapeshifter, man. He's shifting his shape from being a human being to being God, and then being God's son. It's like ping, 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 ping. Now you see me, now you don't. Who now, Jesus? Now I'm God. Now I'm a human being. Ooh, guess what I am now? Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me. Especially after all that stuff he got up to in that Gethsemane park with those 12 apostles. shimmering in those bushes. Don't get me started, Jesus. Otherwise I'll be telling things to people that, you know, your legacy couldn't stand. But to be fair, all you know, young men, virile men in your prime, hanging around in bushes, sounds a little bit like dogging to me. In Britain we have this thing called dogging, where gay blokes go to the parks and then they go in bushes and they meet strangers and, you know, guess the main park. And that's why, you know, Judas went up to Jesus, kissed him on his cheek to tell the Roman soldiers that that's him, he's the biggest queen, he's the queen of the queens. And the reason why I'm grassing him up is because he's been spending too much time with that Peter. Apparently he's hung like a donkey, and I'm all jealous. And so, it's the last kiss now, and now I've sold you for 27 pieces of silver. Come on people, read between the lines, man. I have nothing against the guy. If he was a bum bandit, alright, each their own. But, you know, people need to make their minds up. Whether he was a bum bandit, whether he was a god, whether he's a human, whether he was god and human, god, human and bum bandit. I don't know, I get confused, I do. Anyway, you see where I'm going with this, you know, being a bit facetious, having a crack. What do we make of this? If we stop to think, if you stop to think about anything, it all falls through your fingers. And that's why I'm saying reality. What reality? Truth? What truth? Real? Who? What? How? Where? Nothing. Every single thing we look at falls into the abyss, people. And if you just care to try it, if you're a little bit philosophical of mind, then you can do it yourself, and you can just go like, what is this? And you go, it's a kettle. Well, I mean, it's called a kettle in English. But it's probably, you know, if there's like, let's say 1,000 other languages, it's called 1,000 other things. Ooh, shit. So if I went to, let's say, Nagasaki, and this would be and I'm like, what? I'll put the on and we'll have a cuppa, yeah? And so, is it a kettle? Well, here, some people think it's a kettle, but not in Nagasaki. You see where I'm coming from? So we need to look for more then, don't we? We need to go, okay, okay, so that's the word in the language, so we can discount that. But the concept, instead of calling it a kettle, you know, because kettle's probably just a person's name that invented some electrical appliance, I think we'll find, I don't know, a kettle, or maybe it stems from old, because it, you know, even if you put an old basin, that was called a kettle as well, wasn't it? Don't know, but it's just a word, and where did that word come from? You probably may come from the most stupid of places. And so you can say, well, we'll throw the word out, and then we'll just go with the concept. It's something that boils water. Okay, and you go, you want a cuppa? I'm going to put that thing on the boils water. And then everyone will know what you mean. You know, whether it's a saucepan or whether it's a kettle. And then you ask yourself, well, I mean, is it that thing that boils water? Well, that's what it does, but is that the thing? Well, I mean, it's metal. Oh, so it's the thing that boils water and it's metal. Yeah. What else? It's plastic. So it's the thing that boils water, it's metal and it's plastic. Yeah. What else? Well, it works from electricity. Ooh, it's the thing that boils water, that works from electricity, that's made of metal and plastic. What else? Well, it's silver and shiny. It's a silver, and then we can go on and on and on. We can talk about its shape, we can talk about its weight, we can talk about how the light casts off it in certain ways. Or it's the thing that, you know, boils water, that takes electricity, that, you know, we call a kettle, and it's metal and it's shiny, and this metal is steel, and it's stainless steel, so it doesn't go rusty or rotten or tarnished. And then it's plastic, it's got a plastic thing like that, so we don't burn our hands. Oh, so it's something that you can hold water in, hot water, that doesn't burn your hands. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm exhausted. Of course. So what is it? You see, and then we've not even started with science. We've not even started looking at what the genetic or particle makeup of it is. You know, oh, it's molecules and atoms. Well, quantum physicists say molecules and atoms don't exactly exist. It's energy. Okay, you're getting warmer now, you're getting warmer. Yes, it's energy. Okay, I'm going to put that thing on which is energy that energizes. Water. What's water? Don't fucking start. You know, you see, once we start on this, it will never end. It will go on and on and on forever. And then we'll come back around on ourselves and we'll bite ourselves in the ass and then we'll be back again. Oh, it's a kettle. Look in the dictionary what a kettle is. If you follow the lineage through, you know, let's say 100 words, you know, 50 words, you'll end up back at kettle. And so what is a language? It's just a shapeshifter. It's just an illusionist. It's just something which creates the illusion. It's like a magician. Language is a magician. And it absolutely cannot be trusted because it lies in every single word and verse. And you know, you're starting to see where I'm coming from now when I'm, you know, pontificating about this, that and the other, and I'm being outlandish and saying nothing exists and this is not real and the kettle's not real. You know, but just start to use this instead of this, instead of using that, right? Start to use this and ask questions, you see, and that's what it's all about. That's questions. Questions. And by the time you've asked all the questions, or a good number of them, like philosophers, then you'll find yourself like Nietzsche, a philosopher, who stared into the abyss because he's looking. And he looked so much, he ended up in the abyss. And what was there? Nothing, except the abyss. That's why most people don't want to do it. It's too terrifying because no, I'm coming back from the abyss. I don't want to be in the abyss. I don't want to be eternal abyss. I want to be a human. I want to be someone that's hugging a kettle. I'm going to hug this kettle forever and ever and ever. It is real. I'm real. Everything's real. I'm not the abyss. Am I the abyss? Yes. You're the abyss, awake and brave. Hang on, awake and brave. Yeah. Oh, well, being the abyss isn't all bad. Well, why? What do you mean if my kettle's not real? Well, because it means that you're everything. And so you'll never lose your kettle. Won't I? No, you'll never lose that kettle. Because it'll always be with you. Well, how? Well, in your imagination. My imagination? Yes, awake and brave. It's like this, you see. It's all mind. Everything is mind. And mind is projecting all of these concepts and words and ideas onto the blank canvas of the abyss. Oh, okay. And what part do I play in that? I'm Aaron, I'm awake and brave, yeah? Well, you are and you're not. What do you mean? I'm going to hold my kettle again. Calm down. Look, you can put your kettle down there and you hold my hand. Here, hold my hand, let me hold your hand. Okay, look, you're everything and you're nothing. And it's a bit weird, it's a bit of a paradox, but you're also the paradox. So, if you're the paradox, and you are and you're not, well, it's kind of like doing what that Jesus guy did. He was God, and then he was some Jesus bloke, and then he was the Son of God, and then he was a bum bandit in the garden, and all these things. It was all these things individually, but it was all those things together. And now, he's gone. Well, he still remains, you see. Where? In our imagination. Where it came from. All this stuff came out of our imagination and it'll all go back into our imagination. That's what's happening here. Isn't it fun? And the thing is about it, the most exciting thing of all, you are it. You're everything. Yeah. So whatever you think makes manifest in your reality. It becomes your reality. You think that there's a world out there, there's all these different sorts of things, like nice warm cuddly kettles. But at the end of the day, they all come out of your imagination. Because if you go back and remember when you was a child, this time around, then you didn't know anything. You were just an open space. You had an empty motherboard. And so then society wrote upon that motherboard, and as it wrote upon that motherboard, it created your world. Because it told you that there's things like kettles and wooden spoons and burnt Yorkshire puddings and all those sorts of things. And so now, because you've been told about them, because words have gone into your head, all of a sudden you think that they're real, when there's nothing real. You get what I'm saying? Good! So think about that, and then see if you've got anything to say about that. Have you got anything to say about that? Some of you go, who's that awake and brave? He's mad! No, he's not mad, he's just acting. He's just having a bit of fun. It's kind of like talking to geniuses, but talking to children at the same time. Talking to everybody, but talking to nobody. Talking to you, but simply talking to myself. Who am I? What am I?